Hello everyone, welcome back to Gaming with Shoggoths. Today we are going to check out a couple new mods by the always awesome Kaiodenic. These mods focus on some changes to the Lagoons and the Aviaries in order to have some cooler, more realistic, less structural enclosures. I guess that's the best way I could think to say that. But basically it allows you to edit the terrain within the enclosures, and then also with the aviary it gives you a version without walls. Well, it has walls, but they're invisible. So we're just going to take a look at them real quick. I already built an island. I'll just give you a little over there. You probably saw it in the thumbnail as well. And I am using the expanded terrain mod in order to do this. I kind of wanted it to be out in the ocean just because I thought it would look cool out there in the ocean. Yeah, so we're gonna just go over real quick how the mod works, and then I will jump into a speed build that I already did, and you'll get to see how I made that island over there. So let's see. Alright, so for the aviary you have two options. You have the open aviary, which is this one right here. And it'll say it in the menu. It'll say open aviary, just like that. And then you have the invisible aviary, which is this one right here, which has no walls. They both have hidden domes. I have not actually used this one yet. This is what I used for the island because I wanted it to look like, you know, that everything was free roaming. But you do definitely need to attach your aviary or to place your dinosaur hatchery along the wall as per normal, as you normally would with the domed one. You cannot drop things in it. So it's not a no dome, it's an invisible dome. So the dome's still there, the game thinks the dome's still there, you just can't see it. So you do still have to like attach hatcheries and stuff like that in order to get your assets in there. But these are both really cool. And then as a part of, I'll just show you a really drastic way of doing it, but oh no, that's not right. You can put the terrain up as high as you want. Obviously, that's a little bit crazy. And even with, you can hide the walls even on the other area, but you might as well just use this one if that's what you want to do. Unless you only want it partially hidden. You know, I mean, there's all sorts of ways you could do this. But yeah, like you can go well beyond like the terrain constraints it used to have. If you've seen my Superdome video, that was made a while ago before this came out, and I could only move the land up or down only so much. So now like you can pretty much do whatever you want in there. That's obviously an extreme example. Alright, so for the lagoons, and I kind of did this on purpose so you can kind of see how the land just builds like straight into them. And I'll show you how to fix that. If you run into that, which you probably will because they sink deep down into the land. There are three different lagoons. There is like a Jurassic Park and a Jurassic World version, and then a blank version. And basically it just gives you different fence types. That's kind of got that Jurassic Park style gate going on, like what you'd see on like the Raptors. This is the one on the World, Jurassic World. And then this is the blank one. And I really like this one. This is the one I use because I have to worry about getting the terrain higher, you know, to cover up the fencing. And this is the one that I use. But, you know, it all depends on whether or not you even want to cover it. Like for me personally, the terrain editing is cool for the Lagoon, but I'm way more excited about the fact that you can cover up the lips. So you can make like, you know, you'll see on the island, you can make a natural looking border instead of, you know, a rigid enclosure border. So in order to get the water to show up in these, all you have to do is use the lower terrain tool. Now I am using the terrain mod, but that doesn't really have any effect other than the fact that you could just go deeper. But there you go. You would just use this and this. So yeah, so that is the basics of the mod. And then if you just throw it all together, you can get this island over here. You know, and I mean, I made it a cool little island. I didn't put like too much. I already put like a couple hours into it just doing it as is. So I didn't put like shops and stuff like that, but I did put a couple hotels so you can get like hotel views. But we've got aquatics, flyers, and land dinosaurs all over there and all combined together. And so we'll pop into the speed build now, and you'll get to see how I made that island over there. And then at the end, there'll be some nice shots of everything all put together. All right, and we are in the speed build now, and it's kind of this is the first time I'm seeing this part on sped up, but all those little wrinkly parts that you're seeing, the flashy bits, that's the waves that are kind of barely coming up over the land. And I highly suggest that when you start doing something like this in the water, that you build up your land so it's just barely above the water, and then later you can edit it, but it allows you to still see like the outlines of your lagoon and everything like that, so you can kind of see what you're doing, and then you can play with the terrain as much as you want, as you can see here. Now, I made this before I made that last part that you just saw, so there are parts of this where I'm kind of stumbling around trying to figure out how to do this, and I tried to edit out that stuff as much as possible so you can just see how you make everything. But this is obviously the lagoon, and I've pushed all the land down so that the water comes up. That is not ocean, that is lagoon water. And then I built a little island in the middle, and I'm just trying to make the outside edge of the lagoon look kind of natural instead of like, you know, with that wall look around it. This is a very neat mod. I'm really glad it exists. Like, honestly, like, it's one of those things that I thought about, but I never really thought about being like, oh, someone should make a mod. So, but Kaiodenic seems to always know exactly what we want and need without us even knowing it sometimes. So, which is really cool. Now, as I said before, I'm using the invisible wall aviaries, I almost said hatcheries, but aviaries, and they are kind of a little bit tricky to use because it doesn't show up like when you're editing the terrain and everything. Now, obviously, because I want this to look like one combined area, it's, you know, it's fine that I was building outside of the aviary as well as inside of it, but you know, that is something to keep in mind, is that you don't see the outline on that one. So it does get a little tricky when you're trying to like build in there and stuff like that. But I did put dinosaurs in pretty much right away because I was just wanting to make sure that everything worked right before, because, you know, I didn't want to like decorate the whole area then put the dinosaurs in, which is what I usually do, and then find out that something wasn't working properly. So I did the dinosaurs first and then, you know, built the area up. One thing I will say, the bug I have found a bug, and it seems like if you have a hatchery attached, whether it's the proper aviary hatchery attached to the wall, or if it's like a dinosaur hatchery so you can get your dinosaurs in there, when they're attached, like it seems like for some reason it breaks the wall a bit, even if it's properly attached. Like at the aviary hatchery, as I was saying, even if it's properly attached, the dinosaurs seem to get out. So that's something to keep in mind that might happen. So what like at first I didn't realize that's what was happening, and then afterwards I was like, oh, I noticed once I'd taken the hatcheries off that it stopped happening. So I'm pretty sure that's what causes it. Well, and I know it definitely with the dinosaurs, because I saw one of the baryonyx just like waltz right out right after it happened. So I was like, okay. But it definitely like stopped happening once the hatcheries were gone. So that's just something to keep in mind, that may indeed happen, and it's almost impossible to put them back in once that happens. So I just sold them because I couldn't get them back in the hatchery when they came out. But yeah, I mean, as you can see, this goes pretty quick. It's not hard. Like, you know, it's basically the same as any other building that you would do on land. You're just doing it over the water. You know, the land works pretty well. One thing to keep in mind is in the hatchery itself, you cannot not the hatchery, sorry, in the lagoon itself, you cannot use brushes on the land. You have to use individual trees. And I mean, why wouldn't you be using Kaiodenics individual tree, plant, and everything, the expanded scenery mod, that's what it's actually called. Why wouldn't you be using that, right? So that is definitely something to keep in mind. Tree brushes don't seem to work very well in them, and you want to use the individual trees. And then basically I'm just decorating. I love yet another Kaiodenic mod. The fences, the expanded paths and fences mod, also awesome. As always, I will always, in every single mod episode I do, you'll be able to find the mods that I use in the description. So, you know, you don't have to like be rushing to write these down or anything. They're all in there. But these fences are so cool. Look at those log fences. Like, they're so great as like decorative. I mean, they work as enclosure fences. All the fences in the mod work as enclosure fences. Some of them will only be, you know, suitable for certain kinds of dinosaurs if you're using, you know, if you have breakouts active and stuff like that. But so many of them now are so great as decorative fences as well. And they just look so cool, and I love them. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. It's just like building anywhere else. And I went and just like, you know, decorated around, threw some bushes down, and then filled in all the areas that I wasn't gonna, you know, normally I'd put shops and stuff there, but I didn't want this to be too long of a video, so I was trying to keep it to a minimum while still showing what you can do. And there it is, a island, little island of paradise in the middle of the ocean. So here's some shots. I've got, let's see, we have tried to do a variety. I've got Triceratops, Brachiosaurus, Baryonyx, Mosasaurs, Paras, and Proceratos are in that center island. Got the Mosasaurs. There are some Ichthyosaurs, and I could not get any good shots of them swimming around, so they didn't get on camera. We've got Tropicognathus, Pteranodon, and Dimorphodon in. As far as the flyers, those are my favorite flyers. They're all in the back area. Look at those fences are so cool, aren't they? They're so nifty. I love them. Got a few Mosasaurs in here. And then I got interrupted on the back. Let's see. So on the back, we've got Triceratops, Brachiosaurus, Sauropelta, and Baryonyx. That's what's back there. So we've got a wide variety of dinosaurs and other reptiles on this island. I think that was probably my favorite shot. All living in quote-unquote peace and harmony. And there for our entertainment and viewing pleasure. It's just really nice to, like, I know that you can drop, like, you can do things to have your pterosaurs like flying around without enclosures, but I like keeping them in enclosures, because with you know, if you have actual guests but walking around, you know, this will it'll constantly freak them out to have them flying around free range. So this allows, you know, you to have a park with guests and keep the pterosaurs like enclosed, but still look like they're flying around. I love it. It's such a cool look. Alright, that is going to wrap things up for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, consider subscribing. I'd love to have you around. Leave a like or a comment. I always enjoy hearing from everybody. And I will definitely be back with more Jurassic World Evolution 2 mods real soon. Until then, have a good one.